Live from Cabot, Arkansas. It's Saturday night. Actually, it's Ramsey Coach with Coach Steve Money. Let me see if we can check to make sure the stream's going well. Make sure there's audio. There is audio. I'll mute it now. So if you see me looking back over this way, that means I'm looking to see the chat. Just in case anybody shows up, I don't announce these. I should do it at a certain time, but I don't. I do it whenever I feel like it. Lately on Saturday nights. Once again, I'm Coach Steve Money, my Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach. As you can see my plug image up there. And you can, if you got money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free, no strings attached, financial coaching consultation / assessment with me at calendly.com/Coach Steve Money. You can also just click that link on the right side of my YouTube banner there where it says schedule free consultation. And you can just click that or go again to calendly.com/Coach Steve Money. You can email me about said coaching or anything else on my YouTube channel or anything else you want to talk about, CoachSteveMoney@gmail.com. Channel donations can go to paypal.me/Coach Steve Money. You can add me on the gram at Coach Steve Money. And this YouTube channel is that you're on right now, youtube.com/Coach Steve Money. All right, as I do all the producing and such, get rid of that image and switch to main screen. And what do we want to do here? Let's see, before we get into the answering questions, and I'll start, of course, as always, with the baby steps, which everything Dave Ramsey is based on. Let's do financial news for the week. Friday's results, small cap looked like it was going to win the week, but it did win several days, but not the week overall. And as you can see, the S&P 500 has entered a bull market, and here's that article, yahoo.com. And it explains why it's a new bull market. It's been going, where is it? Let's see, the old S&P. Okay, so as you can see, that's just the 1 day. But the 5 day, as you can see, it's up 0.23%, up 4% in the last month, up 7.73% in the last 6 months. 12.41% year to date, and what's the year? 14.65 over last year. And what do we learn from Dave Ramsey that everybody likes to have problems with? Is that the market should be giving you 10%. And some people will say, well, what about that inflation there? And so, well, this is 14% over the last year, and granted, that is just the last year. But over 5 years, it's 54.65%. And you can divide that by 5. That's not perfect math, but that's the way that goes. And so anyway, it's been pretty much steadily rising over the last year or so. It got up way here and then came down. Little hills and valleys, but overall going up. And so apparently, when it closes up more than 20%, then that makes it a new bull market. That means it's over the current one. I guess you can't do that. And I'm guessing that this definition is not new, like the brand new definition for a recession that they that the current administration in the White House came up with, or somebody came up with that I had never heard before. A new version of recession. New definition. Anyway, so that's pretty cool. Oh, and where's the research from Bank of America, not Dave's favorite bank, indicates the S&P 500 rises 92% of the time in the 12 months following the start of a bull market. And so that's where we are. So history says going up. All right, and so what else did we want to look at on here? Oh, Tesla. So Tesla up 4% on Friday. Over the last 5 days, 12%. Over the last month, 42.3% up as far as the Tesla. And of course, I have them in a mutual fund, as well as many of the other stocks in the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. But I have those in mutual funds. But the reason for all the excitement over Tesla is because they signed agreements with both GM and Ford to use Tesla's charging network. So that's pretty cool. They already have it. It may cost them a little bit more in electric, but they already have it in place. And so it's not that much of an extra charge for them. They get to, charge GM and Ford some money to let their vehicles charge at the Tesla charging station. So how about that? I think that's it for finance this week. So we'll get into the another thing that happened. Netflix subscribers were up in the last quarter considerably, and which is surprising. Because of they're cracking down on the password sharing, and we'll see if the trend continues, if that is a direct correlation to people saying, oh, well, we can't share passwords anymore. I gotta get my own account. So we'll see if that works for them. All right, let's just kill these so I'm not confused. I'll leave the finance page up in case I want to refer to it. All right, so all the Ramsey stuff. This is the baby steps. And again, I will be making the missing baby steps video soon, which is baby step 0 and baby step 3B. So more on those soon. And I'll bring them up if like a question has to deal with those. But baby step 1, save $1,000 for starter emergency fund. And that's not supposed to be enough for you to be comfortable. It's supposed to be enough for you to not have like some emergency and have to put $1,000 on a credit card. That's to keep you from doing that. And so baby step 2, pay off all debt except the house using debt snowball. That would be smallest to largest. And that is not the best math-wise. Best math-wise would be the debt avalanche, which is the highest interest first. But the highest interest is generally the highest amount, and so that's going to take you the longest time to pay off. If you pay off smaller debts quicker, you will see progress and you will get more motivated. Most people anyway, and so that's why it's like that. Baby step 3, save 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. And so, baby step 1, 2, and 3 are done separately in order. Baby steps always in order. There's no switching it around for anybody. It's always in order. There are notoriously few exceptions for anything. If anything, you just pause the baby steps, but you don't ever change which ones you do. Some you can skip over depending on your circumstances, but you're not changing the order at all. All right, so once you have that fully funded emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of your expenses, there's no set amount that it has to be. It's your choice, anywhere from 3 to 6 months of expenses, and it's your expenses, so nobody knows how much that should be except you, because you're the only one that knows your expenses probably. Unless you tell me, and then I'll be able to figure out how much you should have in a fully funded emergency fund if you need help with that. And baby step 4 then, invest 15% of your gross household income into retirement. And that would be, you would not be investing. The Ramsey advice calls for, if you are in baby step 1, 2, or 3, you should not be investing. That 15% for investing, that should be going to these 3 baby steps first. And then you start when you get on baby step 4. Baby step 3B in between there is saving for a down payment for a house if you don't already have a house. And you can divide up however, whatever balance you want to do between 3B and 4. You can even delay 4 for 3 years if you would like to save up the most down payment, and which some of you have to do because you live in high cost of living areas. And guess what? You don't get a pass on math because you live in a high cost of living area. All right, baby step 5. If you have children, and if you choose to help them, if both of those are true, then you have to do baby step 5. If one of those things is not true, then you don't have to do that. You can skip that one if it doesn't apply to you, either by choice or because you don't have children. And baby step 6 is pay the home off early. You pay that mortgage off early before you invest more than 15%. After you do that, in baby step 7, build wealth and give a lot of it away. And then you can invest however much of a percentage you want. You can invest all of that mortgage payment if you want. That's all fine. But, you know, people will say, I'm sure there'll be questions about it that we'll be reading shortly. But a lot of people like to do investing more than 15% while paying the home off early, and I like to explain it like you're trying to do retirement. You're trying to fill a bucket that has a hole in it, which is your mortgage payment. So people are trying to stretch out the mortgage payment, and the reason that's not the advice to stretch out the mortgage payment and max investing, that would be because that is debt leverage. Because if you're going to think about it logically, if you had a paid off home, would you get a mortgage on it to invest that money? Some people have said yes, and you know, Dave was like, well, you know, I can't, I can't, I can't. You're not going to follow. You know, you're not going to follow my advice. The advice doesn't make sense to you, so you know, good luck to you. And people have said that to me as well. They said, yes, I would take a mortgage. I said, well, by your way of thinking, then you better take out loans for as much money as you can and invest it. But that's not the way we do it in the Ramsey world. We get rid of debt, which is risk. And that includes paying the home. And having a paid off home, that sets you up better for retirement. Because when you don't have to pay for it, granted, there's going to be problems with the house that you got to fix and so forth, and needs new roofs and so forth. But if you don't have to pay rent, that will certainly help in retirement, right? All right, so those are the baby steps, and that's what it's all about. With the hokey pokey, right? Okay, glug, 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 glug. From suggested users. Oh, this is reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey. Not run by Ramsey Solutions, run by fans. So you will get people in here posting negative things about Dave and Ramsey Solutions, and giving people the opposite advice that Dave would give. But there are also a lot of people in here that do give the advice that Dave would give. Anyway, the username is suggested username 519. Planning for major expenses in baby step 2. Well, without reading further, with just reading the title, is the idea is you're trying not to have expenses. You're only trying to do stuff that you need to do. If your tires are bald, you know, you got to get tires. If they're just starting, you know, to get lower, you don't have to replace them now. The idea is to not do things, not spend money that you don't have to spend now. You know, it's like I had to get student loans. No, you didn't. That was a choice. And so we'll see what this person's is here. Let's see. Here's on community thoughts. Here, my wife and I are in baby step 2. Again, that's pay off all debt except the house using the debt snowball, which is smallest to largest. We have a $7,000 car loan left, as well as a lease that is up in May. A leased car, I'm guessing. We can probably have the car paid off in the next few months, and we can probably stack $10K by next May to get a car that drives when the lease is up. You don't need $10K, you can buy a cheaper car, but okay. Our furnace, AC, and roof are all pushing 30 years old. Doesn't matter. I mean, 30 years old means, yeah, you're more likely to have problems. It doesn't mean they have to be replaced yet. They're all in working order currently, but I worry they're on their last legs and could give out at any second. What do I do if I don't have the cash to cover a major home maintenance expense because I allocated money to the cars instead? The idea would be to pay off the 7K car and it's posted 3 hours ago, lease that's up in May. So they got another year on the lease. The advice would be to get out of that lease and to buy, even, you can buy that car if it's not too expensive. If it's not too a new car, see what you can get out of the lease for, and if you can afford that car, maybe you buy it. I don't know that you can buy that for 10K, so probably not. But the idea would be to get out of the lease, especially if it has a high payment. But by next May, so you're talking about stringing that along for another year. So that's definitely not what Dave would recommend. But as far as the furnace, AC, and roof, if they are all in working order currently, that's all you worry about. You don't worry about something that could give out at any second that is working well. So you don't do that. So what do I do if I don't have the cash to cover a major home maintenance expense because I allocated money to the cars instead? That's baby step 2. You're supposed to do that. You're not supposed to save money for something that might happen. If you have, just because they're 30 years old doesn't mean they're going to have to go out, and hopefully they don't go out. You don't need to do any work on them at all until you get these dumb cars taken care of. So that would be the advice on that. So. And what do you do? If the roof gets a leak, you see if it can be patched until you can save up enough money to replace the roof if the whole thing needs to be done. Definitely get more than one roofer's opinion on it, because every time there's a roof problem doesn't mean the whole thing has to be replaced. So same thing with HVAC. Again, get more than one opinion, and you can just repair those without replacing them. And so you just do the best you can at that point. You're supposed to pay off your stuff in baby step 2 and not have, I mean, this is basically like full emergency fund stuff. Like, and this would also be the air conditioner is out when it's 120 degrees outside, that kind of thing. Or when the roof is actually leaking in several spots and you do need a new one. That's full emergency fund stuff. But anything that you can patch, you do that. Basically, you run this stuff into the ground just like you run a used car into the ground while you're on baby step 2, because that leaves more money to pay off the debt. And then once you have all that debt paid off, all the money you were using to pay off that debt, that is now free, and that goes into your full emergency fund, which is to pay for this stuff here. So you just move along and you pay off the debt, and hopefully you would have both of these taken care of within the next year, hopefully sooner. If it's gonna, Dave would not say just run out the lease for a whole year. Probably not. It's probably be better for you to get out of the lease, no matter what it costs, because that's going to be less than buying a new car and you buy a used cheap car. Welcome to baby step 2. Every dollar description discrepancies. Let's see. Ed Mitchell 08. Hey, I'm seeing clarification on the different every dollar subscription options. I originally signed up for the premium trial through iOS through Apple, with a special discount renewal rate of $17.19.99 monthly. Later, I was doing a regular checkup of all my subscription through Apple account and saw that there are several different subscription options that I have no idea what the difference in any of the different versions are. The only thing I can find on the actual Ramsey website is a description of free versus premium, and that's all I knew that there was as well. Either the free version or the one you pay for, which is the premium one, and that's also the one that comes for free with Ramsey Plus membership. Yet the options for subscribing through Apple are 3 different options for Plus. One is $7.99 monthly, one is $12.99 monthly, and third, I don't know what the difference are on those. Let's see if somebody knows. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Nobody has posted what the difference are, so I do not know. Could be an Apple thing. I don't know what would be different, because the free version does everything except connect to your bank. And so I don't know how there would be anything else except 2 versions of it. So I don't know. Let's see. Yet another Dave quote that hasn't aged well. And people, instead of going to like find things that they enjoy to talk about or to post about, they want to throw shade or such. Let's see, I'm not fading out. We're building what's going to happen when I'm not here. And we have to build this whole stable of resources to carry the light. Personalities, Chris Hogan's, Rachel Cruz's, Anthony O'Neill's, the Ken Coleman's, the Christy Wrights. These are kind of people that are world-class media and authors and thought leaders. And that's true. They all were. They all were. Chris Hogan did not live up to an agreement he signed. So he was out of there. Anthony O'Neill, keep it locked to his channel. He is still out there doing the same stuff. And he wanted to build his own brand, so he left. They don't have any problem with each other, as far as I know. Anthony O'Neill was at the premiere of Borrowed Future, the full documentary, after he didn't work there any longer. Christy Wright left to do seminary, and then now does speaking, does her own brand stuff. So this is the people's choices, except for Mr. Hogan. And I love the voice. Very, very deep voice. And I mean, you know, he is a good speaker, and he was fine. But again, he didn't follow the agreement that he agreed to in order to stay employed at Ramsey Solutions. So he was let go. And so, what's the point? I don't know what the point is. Just trying to throw shade. Anyway, Ptarmigan Ridge Trail, not constant, what is it? Somebody that posts often. Baby step 4, Flare. Baby step 4, Progress. Glee, I remember that song. Song is a show. They sang songs on it. Personal retirement assets are now close at 70K. When I got here, they were at 12K. Amazing. It's been like a mega snowball. My partner and I paid off 94K in debt, saved up an 18K emergency fund, and then we're plowing it into my 401K, Roth, I-bonds, and Fidelity Cash Management to catch up. Throwing extra at the mortgage for baby step 6, and we are down to 90K. Wow, just shout out to doing the steps as written and learning to stay stable and keep working and having a healthy relationship with our money. Grateful to this thread, actually subreddit I think she means. But I believe that's a female. Not sure though. Baby step 4 type of comment here, and baby step 4 through 6 Flare right there. But you do 15%, and maybe that's all you're doing, but it seems like the I-bonds and Fidelity Cash Management might have been a little bit extra, and you're not supposed to catch up with retirement. You're supposed to catch up by having a paid off house, and so you shouldn't be to 90K. You shouldn't be investing more than 15% while this is at 90K. Still, this person is doing a lot better than probably most other people in the country, with everybody with 78% living paycheck to paycheck, and so doing really well, doing that one little thing not as Dave suggests, and I would suggest doing what Dave suggests, but probably still be okay in this case. But again, trying to fill a bucket faster that still has a hole in it. All right, this from the Divine Dark. Oh, what to do? Oh, what time? I started at about 9:40, I think, something like that. Okay, Central Time. Oh, what to do? Hello, I'm a newer listener, Dave. I'm trying to find some like-minded individuals, like-minded as to do your own thing or your own take on the Ramsey stuff, or to do the Ramsey stuff. What do you want to do? Oh, also known as someone who thinks this is a good idea. You mean what you're, let's see. We'll find out. By the way, I'm 23. Thinking about this stuff at 23 is excellent. Income and debt. Income 72 a year, 34 car, 700 per month on a car payment. Crazy. Sell that. You can get a cheap car. Rent $875 per month. Probably not bad. With 72K year income, that's not bad, I don't think. Personal loan for boat. Sell the boat too. You know, or you can pay it off if you choose to. But you know, I would sell the boat and get a better one later after you have your full emergency fund and no loan for it. You save cash for it. But yeah, I'm selling that car, and I'm selling the boat too. Of course, I wouldn't have the boat to begin with. Credit card 1, 1402. Credit card 2, $734. Bills, food, gas, $700. Okay, and that's not bad either, I think, for the month. That seems like that might be a little bit excessive, depending on if single. If single, that seems excessive. Let's see, I own some land beside my grandparent that I eventually would like to live on. I could move in with them to free up roughly $1K a month to go towards debt. I could sell my boat to eliminate the personal loan that I took out for the boat. Excellent. Once my car's equity gets where I can sell it, even then I can sell it and eliminate that debt. You can also take out a loan now for the difference and sell it as well. The only time Dave does recommend a loan for anything other than a mortgage for a house that you live in, he is fine with you taking this 34K loan and turning it into a 10K loan or less. So a loan for a lesser amount is to get rid of this payment is always approved. Where essentially I would like to know whether or not I should move in with my grandparents. I know that doing so would put me, I think, on the fast track to eliminating my debt. Thanks in advance for your advice. Dave likes you to be an adult in 23. Should be an adult, and the $1,000 a month isn't killing you. That's not killing you. The for expenses. What's killing you is that car payment and the boat payment. That's $1,000 right there. So you can save that already without moving there and continuing to pay for your rent. I would look at the bills that you have. For one person, food, gas, and bills shouldn't be that much. I mean, I'm guessing maybe, 5 or 6 streaming services, perhaps. All those could be cut out. Oh, let's see. Got a chatter. So many haters in that subreddit. There's one called Dirty Dave. 2, yeah, I'm sure there's more than one anti-Dave subreddit. But yeah, there's gonna be haters, and I just don't get it. I don't like a lot of things, but I don't seek them out. I go to places where I believe in what they're talking about. So yeah, but thanks for watching and commenting, XA. Appreciate it. Where was I? Oh yeah, as far as moving in with the grandparents, you get to make that choice. You get to make your choice on all of it always. But for this person, I would get rid of that car, buy a cheap car, get rid of that boat definitely. And as far as the car, you borrow the difference. You don't have to wait till the equity catches up, because guess what? It might be a long time before the equity catches up with that, because cars do go down in value. But yeah, Dave would not recommend moving in with grandparents, especially because you could easily save that 1K again with the car and the boat. And if that 72K a year is just for working 40 hours, you can work part-time job. It's just for a year. You can do that. Dave would rather have you do that than move in with grandparents, certainly. And back. Let's see. Purple Shark 2619 says baby step 1 and snowball. Well, you don't snowball until you are in baby step 2. Unless you're counting the amount of money going to your starter emergency fund as a snowball. I guess it is getting bigger as you save up to $1,000. Let's see, some relatively new to the program, and add a couple questions on credit cards. Right now I'm about $7,000 deep in debt on cards alone. Boop, boop, boo, doo. Currently I'm trying to save my do or do not There is no try, says Yoda. Trying to save my emergency fund, baby step 1, that's what it is, absolutely. After medical and car expenses wiped me out. Till I build my emergency fund, would it be okay to withhold from paying off my credit cards for a month or two and then start paying the minimum with any additional money going to the smallest expense, or just stick completely to the smallest card and move on from there? No, it may seem like common sense to some of you, but as a 22-year-old recent grad, I'm lost and looking for what to do. So far, every finance article tells me to pay my card each month, but I'm also looking for advice from those who have been in my shoes and found a way out. I know somebody that has done that, and his name is Dave Ramsey, and he came up with these baby steps. And you might be confused, especially a new person, might be confused because you're trying to save $1,000 and do baby step 2 at the same time. No, steps 1, 2, and 3 you do in order separately. So you do not pay anything except minimums on debt while you're saving up the $1,000. $1,000 is first. It's baby step 1. You do that first before you pay any extra on any debts. And that's a pretty easy one. I'm sure somebody in the comments helped that person out. Pay the minimum on all. There we go. Yeah, you pay the minimums while you do that. Yeah. Yes. 1, 2, and 3, one at a time. You don't go ahead. There was this one time in the Ramsey Show chat where this guy was doing all of the steps at the same time. All right, this from Abe Moreno. Officially debt-free, paid off the final $12K of my student loan today. Been putting this off for a while, but finally just paid off the final lump sum of my student loan today. Excellent. I have zero debt and am now saving for the next adventure. I did not think it would have that big of an emotional impact, but I can suddenly start to dream of all these things I can do now that I am no longer in debt. Absolutely. Absolutely. It does. That's your final debt. You're debt-free. Excellent. I'm sure somebody in the 12 comments said, why didn't you wait to see if it would get forgiven? I'm sure somebody did that. Alrighty. Speaking of haters, Rawls Keynes. Oh, so it's Keynes, Keynesian economics, maybe. That's bad, okay. Oh, let's see. Good Lord, David gives terrible advice that sometimes. So what did he give now? Highlight how $1 million can be enough for retirement. Yeah, here's how it can be enough. Because that $1 million is going to generate, on average, $100,000 a year. So live on less than that. And that's probably pretty easy to do if you have a paid-for house. A relatively young 56 potential retiree writes in asking if the $1.4 million he has enough to retire on. The host tells him that he can pull out $140K a year. Yeah, forever. Yeah, and that's on average. Yeah, some years the market might not make the full 10%, but other years it'll make more than that. It averages 10%. And that's still true after the pandy, after all these downturns. And like we just learned, I closed the article, but we got a new bull market now. And it's 92% of the time. That means it goes up for a year. So I don't know what to tell you. It goes up for a year, and we are already at, I think we're already at 10%, over 10%, I think, on the S&P. Let's see, because he'd never touched the principal, right? For someone who brands himself with phrases like financial peace and incredibly reckless approach to retirement for a bunch of reasons, he's going to put, let's see, he likes to cite the heavily debunked idea that the stock market has grown by 10. It has grown by 10 to 12% on average. That's true. Motley Fool, whose website is fool.com, just had an article about it, and they said the exact same thing. It does, S&P 500 does 10% on average. Almost any other source is going to tell you 10%. Okay, right, 10 to 12, fine. Go with 10, that's fine. I go by 10% as well. And it's hard to imagine you'd want to base your early retirement on the most optimistic assumption. Okay, I mean, this is stupid. You're gonna bother to argue about 2%. All right. You know what? I think they can make it if it's just 10. And guess what? The host tell him that he can pull out 10%, not 12, but 10% a year. So I don't know. People are stupid. Trolls. Smart tech PC, or people that just disagree and don't want to admit that Dave is right about stuff. Let's see. So not every other source. Oh, he says almost any other source is going to tell you 10%. But yeah, and that's what the Motley Fool article said as well. 10%. So I don't. That seems like a waste it was a waste for me to address the 2% nitpicking there. And I mean, Dave still does say 10%. 10 to 12. He said 10 to 12 per year. But even if it's 10, that's better than not doing the stuff that he does. That's better than not investing at all because you don't like that he said 10 to 12%. Stupid. All right, one card down. One is smart. This is from Smart Tech PC. All right, one is down. Let's go. 500 of debt gone. Hashtag small victories. Exactly. And if this person was paying off the largest debt first, this wouldn't happen. This fast victory would not happen. And so, then some people would get unmotivated. Right, let's see. Luke Cage, 212 of new to Ramsey Solutions. A lot of new people. Good evening. 88K plus in debt, not including the mortgage. Boop, boop, boo doo. Okay, as he gives the breakdown, including 47K in student loans, others, groceries, gas, insurance, trash, medicines, water bill, sure. 200 away from having 100,000 emergency fund. Just found out about Dave and realized I made stupid mistakes in the past with money. We all have. Home fixtures, car repairs, yard supplies, lived off credit card for a few months, etc. Yep. Now I'm focusing on stopping this mess. Excellent. Yeah, you can't go back and change it. You just have to start where you are and make it the best you can. 63K a year, so that's not bad depending on where. And looking for part-time work, exactly what I recommended for the other person, instead of moving in with grandparents. Let's see, currently this year I used my tax refund to pay off 2 debts. Okay, and I hope you adjusted your withholding so that you get that money throughout the year instead of giving an interest-free loan to the government until tax day or until they get around to sending the refund. So definitely do that. Your goal is to have as close to a 0 refund as you can. Let's see, tried calling banks to have a payment plan on my 2 highest card, but it was a no-go. Yeah, they're not gonna do that with you. The only way to get if you're looking for some relief on that, I don't know what. I mean, basically what you're trying to do is settle for overall less, and they're not going to do that as long as you're paying. So if it's something that's in collections, yeah, eventually they'll settle for less than the full amount. But if you're still paying it, the banks have no reason to let you out of that. I'm tired of living off my 15th paycheck, which I don't get it. Which majority goes to bills and living off just about $500 or so. Okay, my 30th check goes to mortgage, $1,700. I don't know what that means. Is that the day of the month? I don't know what those two mean. I'm soon getting a 3,500 bonus in a month. Okay, wanted to know, do I use all of that and put it towards my lowest debt? Yes. Should I save it? Nope. share it amongst other debts? Nope. Also, hopefully I get hired for part-time, which pays $16 an hour, or another one that can pay $18 an hour. Yes. Do all of my part-time checks go into my debt snowball? Yes. Should I join Financial Peace University class to get some motivation? If you need motivation, that is a good thing to do. If you find that you work best in groups, if you work best when you have other people doing the same thing that you are doing, and especially if all your friends and family are looking at you like you're weird, and they have a right to, because you are weird, because you're not doing what all the normal people do. And so I never took Financial Peace University until I led it. I was able to complete baby step 3 without even actually I even started baby step 4, the investing, before I led Financial Peace University, which was the first time I took it as well. Then that is the cheapest way to take it if you offer to coordinate it. And so I did that twice. And yeah, you don't have to have baby steps completed. You just have to be able to show your class progress. And so you can be on baby step 2 and still lead a Financial Peace University class. They do not pay you for that. That is volunteer. But it is, to me, it was very fun, obviously. So I became a financial coach. And I still talk to some people from my first class. But yeah, but anyway, so any extra money goes to whatever baby step you're on. So I think you said you almost have $1,000. I can't remember which step you're on, 1 or 2. So that $3,500 would finish up 1 if you haven't finished it up, and then the rest of it would go on that smallest debt in baby step 2. Yeah, you don't try to then you don't spread it, among here, along all the different debts. You don't do that. You just pay off the small, you throw it all towards the smallest one. Hopefully it'll pay off a small one, will it? No, but it could pay off about 40% of that credit card one. But yeah, it just depends on you. I just read. I didn't even buy Dave's book. I got it from the library. I did not spend any money to get into baby step 4. Did not spend any money. The only money I've spent with Dave is paying for the financial coaching master training, and I did that with the Biden bucks, the stimulus money. It happened to be on sale for half price right at the time I got that, and I had been thinking about doing the coach training for a while, and I thought, well, if I don't do it now, I will probably never do it. So I took the leap and did it. Alrighty, this from Tyler DG 33. Baby step 2, negotiate your credit card interest rates. Okay, I don't know about that either. Again, they don't really have any reason to give you a break on anything. I mean, you can call and ask all you want. Let's see, if you're still in baby step 2, call your credit card companies, ask for a lower interest rate. I was able to lower mine by 4%. Okay, just by calling and asking if they do it. It doesn't sound like much, but it decreased interest accrued by about $40 a month. Well, that's great. Yeah, you can call them. I wouldn't expect them to do it, though. And congratulations to you for having that idea to just call. I mean, that doesn't take anything except your time. And so it doesn't take that long either to do one phone call. So $40 a month is well worth spending that, even if you got to stay on hold for 30 minutes. $40 a month, well worth that 30 minutes. Absolutely. But really, they don't have any reason to do that if you're making the payments, because they want you to make minimum payments. That way they make more in interest. It's the gift that keeps on giving to credit card companies. From Expensive Eggplant. We have a ton of debt and no retirement episode. Caller making 65K and bringing home 3,800 a month. I'm assuming 12. Oh, so that's So that's monthly. That's 4K times. So that's 48K. Maybe high taxes and also doing retirement savings. I don't know what he's bringing. He seems like that's too low to be bringing home. Anyway, and we have a ton of debt and have no retirement episode. Caller is making how much? Dave is shocked by this take-home amount and finally uncovers that the caller received an $18,000 tax return last year. Stupid, yes. According to Dave, if he corrected his withholdings, he would take home an additional $1,500 a month, bringing him to $53K take-home pay per month. When I use the income calculator, inputting no additional taxes or pre-tax withholdings, the number is $4,174 per month in a state with the lowest income taxes for a 65K salary. The reason I'm asking is because I would have to make 90K to take home 5,300. How did Dave come up to this conclusion? He divided 1,800 by 12 months. $1,800 tax return, which it is the whole year, right? That he overpaid in taxes, so he gets that back. 18 divided by 12 months is $1,500 a month. All right, expensive eggplant. You got a hashtag math. All righty. From owl to owls of this world. I get it. It's maybe a fan of owls. It's owls of this world. Bitcoin and gold. I know Dave is pretty passionate about these, as in don't do them. No metals, no fake currency, no commodities. For investing is just mutual funds, real estate you pay for in cash. That's it. But I'm curious if you all agree completely. Of course they don't. Or whether there are mixed opinions within the Dave Ramsey's crowd. I look at Dave's success and the millions of success stories that he has, and I would tend to go with that instead of one person on a subreddit or in a chat or something like that, or even some so-called celebrities and such that tout the virtual coin and gold. Oh yeah, that's also in the financial news. Coinbase and what's the other one? Binance sued for not reporting transactions to the federal government. Boop, 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 doo. You knew they would get in there. You knew the government do take a bite, don't you? So, nice try with the avoiding the government, guys. Let's see. Do gold and or Bitcoin have a place in your investment portfolio? I'm sure some people do it. There's a total nonsense, a scam. No, gold does make money, just not as much as the market. Probably don't need all of the. I'm sure I'll get a lot of pushback here. Maybe not. But I'm up for it because I want to hear y'all's opinions. Yeah, so, I mean, you can do what you want. You can even do your own plan that you didn't hear from anybody. But yeah, Dave doesn't recommend this stuff. And it's just because the market makes more. And of course, the market doesn't crash 50% sometimes like the virtual coin has. Alrighty. King Coleman's argument that employers would rather outsource jobs over remote work. I didn't hear that episode. I don't know anything about that. Let's see, what I can't understand is that if my job can be outsourced to India and save the company money, why wouldn't they do that already? That's a fair point, I guess. Very few companies hire local people to support the local economy. They want the cheapest labor possible. Yeah, sure. All right, yeah, I don't have a like I said, I didn't see that episode. I didn't hear him make that argument, so I don't really have a context for this. So I don't know. I'll just bow out of that one. The career stuff. I'm not a career coach, financial coach, specializing in the Ramsey advice. Let's see, Logan McCullough. Baby step 4 Flair here from mutual funds. What are some mutual funds that have worked for other folks? Looking for 4 to 5 solid ones for Roth IRA and individual brokerage account. Alrighty, well, just like Dave, I do not give individual mutual fund advice. Dave just gives the categories. You split up your 15% or more if you're in baby step 7, but you should split up your retirement investing equally into 4 categories. That would be, he calls them different names, but they are most oftenly referred to as small, mid, large cap, and international mutual funds. And so that's what you should do. And so you should not take advice. I mean, I guess you can look them up yourself afterwards and see if the people that say, because people love to say, like, even if it's just a S&P 500 index fund, it mirrors the index. All the brokerage has them, but people love to say their Vanguard S&P 500 index fund, or even I'm with Fidelity, or even their Fidelity one. They love to say what they're investing in. So, and just in a subreddit like this, not the best advice. Dave says if you don't understand it, you don't invest in it. But he does agree that an S&P 500 index fund, just by itself, if that's all you can do, because you don't know any better to do anything else, and you won't pay an investing professional to teach you and guide you, if you can't learn about how to pick mutual funds yourself, that would be better. S&P 500 index fund would be better than doing nothing because you don't understand it, and probably better than taking somebody's advice in a subreddit. Alrighty, mortgage company will not take my final payment without payoff quote. Interesting. Depends on that document that you signed when you signed for the loan, if that's in there, or if that's their policy. You are at their mercy. We opted to pay out the remaining balance plus what Quicken calculated as July's interest. Yeah, Quicken didn't make your loan, so yeah, easy peasy you thought. Yep. So yeah, it doesn't quite work like that. You do have to. I mean, in some mortgages, they do have early payoff penalties. So you gotta read what you sign. Definitely. All right, this is from North Star. The North remembers. Oh, excuse me, North Star _8. The North remembers. Baby step 1 Flair, struggling with budgeting. Budgeting is part of baby step 0. But you can do that while you are saving up the $1,000 for baby step 1. Let's see. Help me, I'm Pope. The pandy was extremely hard on me financially, and I'm up to my eyeballs in debt. Just starting baby step 1, figure out how to budget. I've loaded on my expenses and cut out all extra fun spending. Excellent. And still short about $1,000 per month. Gonna have to cut more expenses. I have zero room for making that $1,000 up. I'm not sure exactly what to do. $1,000 is pretty extreme in your situation. You have to do extreme actions to get extreme results. I work 2 jobs already and neither one allows overtime. I have 2 kids to feed and cannot lower the only movable food budget. I don't know what that means. Only movable? I don't understand. How can I make this work to start saving my baby step 1,000 when I don't even have enough to cover my bills? Working on purging my house to sell some unneeded things. But what am I supposed to do next month when I'm short again? I don't understand how to get ahead. Again, you have to do something crazy. Maybe you have to, if you have a mortgage and that is too expensive for you, I mean, that should be at maximum, that should be 35% of your take-home pay. If it is more than 35% of your take-home pay, and you have debt at the same time, you cannot afford that. So you might have to sell the house. And you know, people do want to start this plan and follow it, but when they have such a small shovel, and they can't even break even with the bills that they have, and you know, I mean, I'm sure I could look at that budget and find some stuff to cut, I'm sure, but this person just doesn't think it's something cuttable. So, and unfortunately, might have to sell the house. You don't always have to sell the house, only if it's killing you, and it may be killing you if you have $1,000 shortfall each month, because you're not going to get ahead. It's not sustainable, and then you're going to lose the house, and you know, it'll be foreclosed on, and you'll have to sell it anyway. All right, this is from Take an Account Name 37. That's from the what movie is that? Clerks. 2 questions about Dave's investing style, because I'm confused. All right, well, I will set you straight, sir, if I can. Let's see, or ma'am, it could be a ma'am. I started to understand investing the more I listened to the show. Excellent, but at times Dave confused me. He mentioned how he invests in mutual funds. He tells callers that they should invest savings money. What? If I understood him correctly. What? Say someone has 20K saved. You wouldn't invest all of that because, as we know, the market fluctuates. That's why he doesn't do single stock, right? Makes it sound like he invests thousands in the market, though. He does. Shouldn't one be safe and invest a smaller amount? No. Well, if you have debt, you don't have 20K saved. You have that paying off the debt. Let's just say you do have 20K, and that's in addition to your full emergency fund, and you have no debt. Then at that point, the 15% can start on the next check. But you can go ahead and put 20K in at one time if that is up and above your full emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of expenses, your choice on how many months you would like to cover with that. But yeah, so the idea on the baby steps is you don't save an extra 20K. You apply them to whatever step you're on. Let's see. Dave also mentioned how he invests in mutual fund per year, but does that mean that he just lets them sit in the system without pulling them? Yes. It's for retirement. Your 15% is for retirement, and you don't take that out until you retire. It's for retirement. So yeah, you don't take that out. Now, the other thing he does use the market for is he does put money that he wants to buy houses with. He pays in cash, in full, for real estate. He hasn't bought any lately. He said before he may have bought, you know, a couple here and there, but like every so often he has said in the past year or two that he's not buying anything because he makes his money by being smart, and that means buying a good deal. And so if it's not a good deal, he doesn't buy it, and there aren't really any good deals in the housing market these days. So he hasn't bought any. But what he's doing is taking the money he sets aside for those purchases, and he puts them in the S&P 500 index fund. He uses the index fund for saving for a purchase. Now, one of the rules for that, like you said, the market could be down right when you need it. So that's why you have to have at least 5 years, because in every 5-year period, the market has at least been even. So you got to have a 5-year timeline before you can use the market, the S&P 500 index fund, for saving for a purchase. But no, he's not trying to. He doesn't try to make money in there and then pull it out. Like, we're not day trading ever. So you either got your investing should be limited to either a 5-year timeline where you leave it in for 5 years before you need it, or retirement, which means you don't pull it out until you're retired. Retirement accounts you do not pull unless you're facing foreclosure or bankruptcy, in which case you would have to take it out anyway. So better to pull it out and try to avoid those scenarios instead of letting it come to where they make you do it. Alrighty, so that's the dealio on that. 26 comments. Probably somebody has that person straight. Let's see, Michigan 1. I used to type in some like short answers sometimes on there. I haven't done that lately though. Let's see, baby step 3, flare here. Actually, the flare is the baby step 4 to 6, and baby step 3 is the topic. Finish with baby step 3, which means they are on 4 to 6. Excellent, Missy Ann. Excellent. I have nowhere else to post this, right? Because nobody else understands. You can't do this on the Facebook, except maybe the Ramsey Baby Steps community, which is the official Facebook group. But there are several others on the Facebook, including Ramsey dating sites. Would not recommend any of those. Let's see, post this, but I finally finished my emergency fund. Excellent. But I don't understand baby step 4. Is it 15% of gross or net income? 15% of gross. The way to remember it is Dave wants you to have more in retirement. So that means you use gross for the base of that. He wants you to have less house so you're not house poor, so that you use take-home pay for when you figure out 25% of take-home pay. So it should be your monthly mortgage payment. Do you put it all in 401k or do you use IRA too? You use the hierarchy first Roth. So if your employer offers a Roth 401k, you can put the full 15% in there. But it's Roth. Oh no, it's match first. Actually, match first, because that's 100% return. Rate of return, 100% rate of return on match. So it's match first. So wherever you get the match for, which could be like a traditional 401k, and like I said, you can put it all in. If it's all 15%, you can. If that will max out the 401k, you can put that all in there. But it's match first, then Roth 401k, and then Roth IRA, and then traditional 401k in the order. So that would be why. And the reason why the match again takes precedence, because that is again 100% rate of return, and Roth accounts take precedence because it is better to pay the taxes on the contributions as you make them than to pay it on the money you're taking out, because the amount of contributions, if you're doing it for if you're doing it for at least 10 years, if you're investing for at least 10 years, your growth is going to be way more than your contributions. So that's going to be less tax overall, and of course it's fine. It's great when you don't have any tax on income when you are retired. A lot of people will say, well, your cost of living will be less, so you'll pay, and your income will be less, so you'll pay less taxes. You'll have a less tax rate. People overthinking it. you got to keep in mind, again, what percentage of your retirement is contributions and what percent is growth. And I would rather not, but like if you're doing it for 20 or 30 years, the majority of it is going to be growth. Easily. Let's find that. Let's look at that. Why not, right? All right. Darn it. RamseySolutions.com. Free tools. Where is it? Retirement. Investment calculator. Okay. Let's say you're getting started a little bit late in life. You can work till you're 67. Don't be lazy. I want to retire early. How much you currently have in? Say you used to have nothing. You start at nothing, and then you kind of your employer doesn't offer it. Say your employer doesn't offer it, and you can just do a Roth IRA, or that's all you can afford. And I know from past experience that that's $583 a month will equal the $6,500, or that was the $6,000. I think that was the previous amount. Anyway, that's the amount I have in here, but you'll still see the difference, okay? And this is back to what we're talking about the 30-year return. So the average return of the S&P 500, this is the return your investment will generate over time. Historically, the 30-year return of the S&P 500 has been roughly 10 to 12%, and it has a little asterisk there. Is there something that says, let's see if something, I was looking for a little footnote there. And I would imagine the footnote would say something like, I said 30-year return has been roughly 10 to 12%. I said that it has been that way for 30 years. That means average, dummy. I'm not saying it does 10% every year. So anyway, let's see. What do you think the annual return would be? So let's go by 10. And so you're going to start with 0. You're putting in 583 a month. And so that only brings you up to 2,716,000. So that's from 30 to 67. So if you start younger than that, and again, this is not like this is just investing $6,000 a year. Just $6,000 a year. And so, as you can see, your contributions are $258,000 of that. As opposed to the 2.45 million. So I would rather pay taxes on the 258,000 than the 2458 million. 2,457,829. And of course they mark here where your $1 million year is, and that is 2051. When the person would be, let's see, 2051, 2023, that is 28 years from now, 23 to, 28 years. So 28 years would be a millionaire. And then you see how fast that millionaire, because that $1 million is going to generate at 10%, yes, sorry if you don't like it, 10% average a year, that is going to generate $100,000 a year. And so as you can see, that keeps going up and up and up and up and up. So there you go. Why did I bring that up? Oh, for this one. So, about paying taxes on it. So yeah, so I'd rather pay taxes on $258,852 than pay it on $2,457,829, which is your tax-free income when you pull it out each. Now, granted, you don't take all that out at the same time. You don't touch that interest. So this This would generate $245,000 a year. I think you could get by on that. Nope, that one. There we go. The other one is if I catch up with previous, because I started with new, so if I catch up with the previous ones I've already done, is that. So do you put it on 401k? So again, investing is match first, then Roth. Roth 401k is fine if your employer offers it. If not, you should do a Roth IRA for the first. It's $6,500 if you're under age 50 is the max on that currently, and so you should do it the Roth IRA up to that if your employer does not offer a Roth 401k. So you would do that, and then if you had money left over after you max out the Roth IRA, then that you would put in a traditional 401k. All right, it's amazing how many problems could be solved by two things: communication and budgeting. This from Melodic Oil, 2486. That is so very true, especially in marriages where one spouse wants to do Dave's advice and the other spouse doesn't. If you can budget, I mean, budget isn't keeping you from doing anything. You could put whatever you want in the budget. You know, obviously the idea is cutting expenses, living on less than you make, etc. But you as a team, if you're married, can put whatever you want in the budget. And definitely the communication is necessary, not just for money problems, but many problems, as this says here. But absolutely. Communication is indeed the order of the day in most situations. Do not let your stupid attacks keep you suffocated. This from Modabs. I've always attributed the credit card interest I was paying to being a stupid tax, you right? And refused to do a balance transfer. Turns out interest I paid last year was roughly half the balance of one credit card. That's how they get you. Anyway, equivalent to the balance of another one that I have that I'm trying to snowball. I've transferred a substantial amount of the balance to a different credit card and will be paying off the first card with my next paycheck and canceling that card immediately. Wasted a year playing off credit cards because I wasn't on top of my interest rate and was just letting stupid tax happen to me. Never again. Yeah, Dave just says pay it off faster than you're paying it off. Dave just says pay it off faster because you are, most of the time, you are paying basically a closing cost. You're paying a new fee to move it from one place to the other. And also, Dave doesn't like it because when you move it from one place to the other, that makes you think you've done something. Where you're just moving around debt, it's just playing a shell game. Dave would just rather have you pay it off. Now, changing it to lower interest, that could, with some people, this person seems to be very happy with him or herself for doing that. And that's fine. It's their money. They can do whatever they want to. But that may lead to them not being as gazelle intense as they would be otherwise. Dame Ramsey study. He does it on purpose, you think? The M there or accident? Let's see. This is the study he cited for people who had the student loan pause being worse off. Alrighty. Yeah, somebody in the chat ask about that every time when he says studies. It can be from anybody. Polling companies do studies, universities do studies, the government does studies, colleges. Let's see. Gardener of the Galaxy. I see what they did there. That's very clever. Need help deciding between colleges. The cheapest one, Bow College Public, but living in a dorm with a meal plan. College, nice college, more education. Has a focus in my major and has been ranked pretty well for what I'm majoring in. Mostly women in my school. With my aid, it will cost me $5,000 a year. Okay. The first thing is no loans. Let's see. College B. School pride is a big thing. Looks like high school 2.0 in my opinion, which isn't my thing. Academics seem not as important as experience here. They're not nice looking school, bit of a downgrade close to home with my aid. It won't cost me anything. Plus, I could get around $3,000 in grant money back a year. I'm going with B. It's not about the experience. It's about your education. You're not going there to party down. You're not going there to have an experience. You know, you can definitely do those things while you get an education, but like you're saying, that's being more education focused. You could be more education focused no matter where you go to college, no matter what the rest of the people are doing there, no matter what, you can concentrate on your schoolwork. And so I'm going with the cheapest option. And you just pile up cash and say it won't cost you anything, so you get to save all of your money until you graduate debt free, get your big boy job or big girl job, and then you're off and running. Then you have a pile of cash already if you haven't had to pay for school. You probably have some money that you at least can start baby step 3 off with, and you will be so far ahead of your classmates that took out student loans, you wouldn't believe it. Baby step 2, debt free again. Well, you're not in baby step 2 anymore then, Mr. Strawn. Let's see, I have to go back to my previous post, but today, doesn't mean I hate to go back maybe, but today I paid off the rest of my consumer debt. I had stopped budgeting coming out of the pandy shutdown. Why? And never cut down my lifestyle. Why? Which led me back into debt. That's a good reason for cutting down your lifestyle. Trusting that God will provide no matter what, and consistency are key. Now for baby step 3, I'm going to go for 3 months, which 3 months is fine if you have no job drama or life drama. 3 months is fine for an emergency fund. If you lose your job, you should be able to get another one in 3 months. No problem. But again, if you, like I say, you have no job drama, 3 months is fine. Then start retirement and fund purchases, vacation, etc. The stuff works though, without a doubt. Absolutely, it does. Dave puts where you should start actually worrying about losing a job if there's more than a 50% chance. So there has to be a 51% chance. You can't just turn on the news and they say, oh, this is doom and gloom, doom and gloom, doom and gloom. Or you hear people talking at work. That doesn't, none of that means anything. It's what the situation is actually happening. Okay, withdrawal from 401k to student loans. Do you remember, kids, what we said earlier? Crafty Strawberry 26. Do you remember what I said earlier? You only grab from retirement to avoid foreclosure or bankruptcy. I don't believe I mentioned student loans in there. So I'm being a smart ass, but that's basically the dealio on that. You don't touch it for anything. So no. People always look for the fast thing. And so if you withdraw it from a 401k, that's another loan. So, and you have to pay that back. So you're just moving it around again. So I know you're trying to save it, and you're trying to do anything you can to not have to go without things more. But it's really not doing anything. I know the math says to not touch my 401k, and the math is right then. But it would also feel really good to not have student loans hanging over my head. Well, then pay them off. Don't have any other debt aside from this. And what else? I don't have it. Oh, and can otherwise save 1.5k each month after my bills are being paid. Yeah, you don't do that. You just don't do that. Not advised. People do it all the time, though, I'm sure. This is from Dilo456, emergency fund. How long should it take to save a 4.5 month emergency fund? Interesting, 4.5, but I told you it can be any month you want, any amount of months you want. I want an estimate so I have a goal to shoot for, please. Thank you for your time. All right. People love to ask questions like this now. to do math, this requires math, right? And to do this math, we have one number to do the math where we would need, what would we need for this? We need the amount of months that they want the emergency fund to cover, okay, which we have. What we don't have is the amount of expenses per month, which we would have to multiply that 4.5 against to get the total number, or the total dollar amount of what the emergency fund should be. Then we have to know how much the expenses are. And so this is, again, assuming this means a full emergency fund, which you're choosing to do for 4.5 months worth of expenses. And so we're assuming no debt. So, and we have to know what the extra how much they can save out of that. So then we don't have, like, we're missing 4 numbers that we need, at least 3. And then we can figure out 1 and go from there if we have 3 other numbers. So yeah, missing some numbers there. It's possible. I want to go through 21 comments to check to see if the person, I'm sure other people have said, we gotta have more info than that. So, but at least that gives one number that's better than people saying, how much should I have in my emergency fund, and not giving you any numbers. Alrighty. This from best_practice_3138. What is chat 529? I don't understand. Setting up chat 529s. Oh, okay. I think that's the new, like, 2529. Okay. Age-based options, but asking if I want to go with mutual funds, index funds, or blended funds. Since it's going to be, if they have more than 5 years, go with mutual funds. Mutual funds are going to make you, if you pick good ones, 40% of them now. Now, if you don't know what you're doing, then it's 50-50, whether or less, actually, 40-60, that you get one that beats the index. Well, 40% of them beat the index. So you do have to find them. So let's see. I know, or not blended, under blended. I know Dave Ramsey, and also index funds, a lot of people don't know this. Index funds are mutual funds. What Dave recommends is managed mutual funds for retirement, but for saving for a purchase, he uses S&P 500 index fund. But he does always save that for have at least a 5-year time period for that, because the market could be down otherwise. But yeah, so if you still got 10+ years for these kids before they get to college, the managed mutual funds that beat the index funds would be the best. Let's see, I don't know much about differences between the two and what about approach creating the chat. It has the type of account, doesn't matter. For reference, my kids are 3.5 and 1.5, so using money receiving baptism to start their account. Okay. Yeah, so it would be managed mutual funds, but you do have to know which ones to pick. Explain HSAs to me like I'm a child. Okay, let's see. Toe local 9653. Okay, a health savings account. That is an extra, for rich people, that can be an extra investing tool. To have a health savings account, you do have to have a high deductible, and I can't remember what the rule is for high, like several thousand. I think at least $3,000, maybe it's at least $5,000 deductible in your insurance plan. So you have to have a high deductible insurance plan in order to do this. But the idea is that if you can put money into the health savings account, and basically that's like a medical emergency fund that you're saving, and it also makes money. You can invest inside the HSA, and like I said, that is a way to for people who have maxed other retirements, that is an option to get a little bit more into investing. Let's see, as in taking money out to pay medical bills, right? That is what HSAs are for. But as I said, some people don't use them for that, like some, richies, I guess, that would have more to invest than what they are. They would hit the max, like on a 401k, an IRA, or they even are over the income limit and they have to do backdoor IRAs, backdoor Roths. And so if they were just looking for one more thing to do, they could put it in there and then just cash flow any medical stuff and leave that in investing in there. Let's see. New podcast photo. Who is the new gal? 5 days ago. Are they talking about Jade? Warsaw? Let's see. Oh, there's no... Eddie does live events. Let's see again. Resolutions, personalities. Well, let's see. All right, we know them. Yeah, so must be talking about Jade. She's been on a while. She's been on months and months. Like 3 months now, I think. That would be Jade Warsaw. And she brings the sass. Probably the most like Dave, probably. Out of all of them. Let's see. Leading _cow 8028. Misunderstood. Misunderstood does not have a second S on it. It also is also one word. Funny. Hashtag 3rd grade. Misunderstood. Mortgage payment. Guideline of 25%. So I made an honest mistake. Okay, we'll see. And took 25% of our household gross pay instead of 25% of our net pay. Yep. In the end, we're about 35% of our net pay per month. I don't know if they have or in more recent printings of the Total Money Makeover, if they took it out. I know Dave doesn't say 25 to 35%, but in the Total Money Makeover that I read, Dave says 25 to 35% of your household. And so if it's 35%, especially if you don't have any debt, I don't think he would be mad about that. So that's probably fine. Let's see. It feels a little crazy to say sell and find something different here. We have money left over to throw at the mortgage as is, but what would Dave actually suggest? Probably not sell it. Let's see. Got no debt, 6 months emergency fund, bringing home gross of greater than 200K. Weren't seriously considering selling, but wasn't sure what Dave might say. As long as you're able to progress on the baby steps. So at this point, you should be investing your 15%, having some fun, addressing kids' college if you have kids / want to help them, and putting everything extra to the house. Now again, when I say putting everything extra, you can budget vacations. You can go on vacation. You can do fun stuff on baby steps 4, 5, and 6. So you can do that. But the idea, you do not invest more than 15% while you still have a mortgage. So the idea is to get that mortgage paid off. So that's I don't think he would say it. I think he would say you're fine. Now, if somebody had debt, that would be a different story, especially if they were like the previous person that was in $1,000 hole every single month. So that would obviously something would have to give there, and it would probably be that mortgage. Let's see, walk around, Amex, what do you mean? Is there a walk around getting every dollar to capture Amex activities? No, and well, that's normally work around, not walk around. People hear words and then they turn them into words that they already know. Let's see, high yield savings account again. This from Corgi Farm 9. Corgi Farm 9, I got you. I'm looking to take my EF out of Chase, 0.01%, and move it to a liquid high yield savings account. High yield savings account, oh, yeah, it does say high yield savings account, HYSA, not just a health savings account, HSA. Move it to a liquid high yield savings account, and that is the key. It has to be liquid. You have to have immediate debit card access to it, or immediate check writing access to it at all times. It can't be locked up. No portion of your full emergency fund can be locked up. You can't put that in a CD or anything like that. There's no 1 to 3 days transfer. You can't do that. It has to be completely liquid. You have to be able to get your hands on it immediately. High as I see today, 5.25, and yeah, that's going to be somewhere over 5%. They do have, some of them do, and you're worried about shady companies you have never heard of. That's great. Use a bank that you heard of. That's no problem. Take a little bit of less, lower interest rate, and use a bank you heard of. Easy. You can check bankrate.com for the current rates. Oh, what time did I say I started? 9:45? I never remember. Never remember. With sorrow. I just go until I don't feel like doing it anymore. Or I did get up at 6:45 Central Time today because I did have to work early. But I'm still good for a while, so we'll see. Although I might stop and play some Last of Us Part 1, streaming it. Maybe, we'll see. With sorrow. Resources for budgeting, building wealth, rather than getting out of debt. Okay? Somehow managed to get a law degree and a 6-figure starting salary without going into debt. Excellent. Wrote scholarships and work. Excellent. Other Ramsey resources that I could look into on how to build wealth and financial stability that don't focus on getting out of debt. Sure, you get to just skip step 2. You do it exactly the same, except you get to skip step 2, which is the best one to skip in my opinion. I've signed up for every dollar, but would like to spend a few months learning about ETFs and investing for Dave's perspective. Dave's perspective is not using ETFs. Dave's perspective for investing for retirement is managed mutual funds, again, because 40% of them beat the index. And so ETFs are index funds. So as far as, I mean, there's stuff on investing. Like I would tell this person, I've told other people, if you YouTube search Dave Ramsey investing, there are bunches of videos on that. As far as the budgeting, probably, I'm sure Rachel has done it a lot of times, probably Rachel Cruz on her show. So probably YouTube search Rachel Cruz budgeting, and she probably has a lot on that. You could even YouTube Dave Ramsey budgeting and see some videos on specifically that. Signing up for every dollar, that basically prompts you to do everything that you should do. So even if you don't like it, like I tried it and didn't like it, and I went back to my spreadsheet, but that still would tell you everything that you do. Even though you don't like the way necessarily that every dollar does it, you could do it a different way, but in a different app or in your, spreadsheet of your own making. So, and if you have a law degree, a 6-figure salary, you ought to be able to handle that, probably. But yeah, and a lot of people think he's just for getting out of debt. He's not, but unfortunately, that's where most people that call him are. That's where they are. But you can be on any step and decide to start following Dave Ramsey's advice. Let's see, adventurous try 9506. Do or do not. There is no try. Generosity in marriage. Do you have a different concept of generosity than your spouse? If so, how do you navigate that? You navigate that the same way you navigate having different ideas on money. Like one spouse, a lot of calls come in for that to the Ramsey Show when spouses have different ideas about what should happen with money. And so one spouse wants to follow Dave's advice, and the other wants to spend money and such. And so what you do is compromise. And you would do that in this case as well. Like that one post said, what was it? Communication and, there was something else. I can't remember. Compromise, I think. It was basically compromise, I think. I don't think it was. It was exactly compromise. Okay. From Fargo_Indy, I'd love to compare the net worth of those who follow Ramsey's plan against those who hate on it. Yeah, that would be interesting, but that's not going to happen because there's not a way to do that, really. I know not many of the hate posters here are successful following their plan either. Exactly. People with student loans and credit card debt telling people with $500K paid off a house. They are doing it wrong. Exactly. So it's pretty annoying having to sift you through the know-it-alls and their $300 bank accounts to get to the actual inspiring content. There are actual successful people here we want to converse with. There's not going to be a way you can compare that against those, because you're talking about such a small group that hate on it. A lot of people like advise against it without hating on it, and they just have other opinions on how to do things. Granted, people have get leveraged and made a lot of money, but Dave and several others have made a bunch of money too and have not had debt, which means less risk. So, but yeah, you won't get that. They don't provide, when they hate, they don't provide their tax returns, unfortunately. Alrighty, this from Sharp Direction 6894. Dave Ramsey audiobook. Recently started listening to Ramsey Show podcast on my Spotify while driving. I like listening and figured I'd download a few Dave Ramsey books to also listen to. Currently listening to Total Money Makeover. Yep, that's the one I read. While I like the context, mostly, I find Dave's narrative tone to be atrocious. What do you mean? He yells, he snarks, he smirks, he condescends. Okay, you don't like his, I'm surprised, you're surprised. He's the same way on the Ramsey Show. I'm surprised that you're surprised about that. So that's Dave. If you don't like that personality and that way of motivating you to not be stupid, then you don't have to listen. I don't know if I can handle his voice for another 3 hours. You don't have to, let alone additional books narrated by him. You don't have to. You could do one of the other people's books. Rachel Cruz has 2 books. You could do books by other people instead of Dave. You don't have to. And you don't have to. You also don't have to. You could also just stop listening instead of, I'm going to go on here and complain. Alrighty. Arnold A. 2024. Looking for people who paid off their house. It happens. Generally, almost everybody that calls in for Millionaire Theme Hour, and almost everybody that they surveyed in their survey many years ago, the biggest survey of millionaires ever in history, and almost all of them have paid off their house, and that is a significant portion of their net worth. And that's how you get to $1 million net worth quicker, because you have to pay for somewhere else to live, and you know, when you have like especially if you have a bigger house, say $500,000 house, that's $500,000 right there. Let's see, 22, plan on saving cash for paying cash for house in the next 2 or 3 years. Excellent. Dave does prefer that. He will not yell at you for getting a mortgage for a home that you live in. No loans on rental property, that's paid cash for. Let's see, I'm looking for younger people and people in general who have done it. What are the positive and negatives of the process? And do you have any regrets about how you did it? How can I make the process more efficient and enjoyable? If you're paying cash, you get to make all the rules. A moth? Something just attacked me. Let's see what you do again. 66 comments. I bet 70, at least 70% of them do not have a house. That's what I would bet. Alrighty. Amazing Wrangler. Do I have too much in savings? And the answer, if you have debt, yes. As far as the rest of it, we'll say 37 years old. Single mom, but their dad and I share the expenses for the kids, childcare, etc. Currently running right now, but I want to buy a condo or a house in the next 2 years. I currently have close to 70K in the savings, no debt at all. Just start contributing 6% to retirement fund this month. Recently pivoted in my career to tech, and I'm making about 50K a year, and it's a contract job ending this December, hoping to convert it to full time. Side gig is about 10K. Excellent. Lord loves a working man, in this case, working woman. I feel I'm so behind towards retirement and wanting to put more there. You can't do both at the same time. If you want to hightail it to a house, you don't even have to do the 6% for 3 years. You don't have to do anything while you save all your money for the house. So you don't have to do that. Only thing that draws me back is my job isn't stable and I may be unemployed for a few months while looking for a next job. Should I just let 70K sit there, and see how my job goes next year? Or should I contribute more to 401K and open the Roth IRA? I think you're trying to do too many things. You can do 3B, which is saving for a down payment. In your case, saving for the full cost of a house. You can do a balance between that and the 15% investing, step 4. You can do a balance of those to your liking. There's no specific percentage you have to put towards either of them. It's all up to you to do that, to decide that. 37, you're not, I mean, you're younger than I am I was when I started investing. So you are ahead of me. So that's up to you. It's up to you what's more important to you, the investing or the house, and you just put a number on that. You can do 50-50 in both. And that also allows you to, for job loss, having that money sitting there, like an extra emergency fund, which is not, it's house down payment savings, I know that, and you shouldn't think of it as extra emergency fund, but the second you would lose your job, then that really would become, at that point, if you lost your job, that is an emergency time, and then you pause baby steps anyway, and you just pile up cash, so you would stop saving for a house at that point as well. So it's up to you, the balance. You just decide what's more important to you, and if the house is way more important to you, then I would do like Dave says, and you can take 2 years or 3 years, however long it takes to not over 3 years, but up to 3 years off of investing before you start investing. So no, that's not too much in savings. You said you want to buy a condo or house in the next 2 years. Oh, well, she doesn't say she wants to pay cash for it completely, though. I just thought, because it says buy and it didn't say mortgage there, so I just assumed incorrectly. So I guess, you 70K, depending on the price of the house. you would have enough now to get in the house. But as you said, you're right to be concerned that your job isn't very stable. It's not guaranteed because you may not be able to change that contract that will run out into a full-time gig. So I'm sure she'll get another job doing something, but as far as how fast, don't know. Millionaire study is BS. Well, why even bother addressing it then? I don't get it. But all right, let's read it. Why not? They've always talked about a millionaire study and use that data to tell us what to do. Yes, I think it's BS. Doesn't matter what you think. You're just somebody commenting on a thing. Study shows millionaires have their house paid off, so you should focus on paying off your house. That's true. Why is that BS? This does not mean they saved $1 million by paying off their mortgage. No, that doesn't. No. See, this is how stupid people are. It's millionaire net worth. That doesn't mean they saved $1 million. Let's see. It probably means they made a ton of money and then decided to get rid of debt. It doesn't correlation on a con. This person is stupid. He says every time it's $1 million net worth is a millionaire, not they saved $1 million in cash ever. So, and a lot of them, the majority of the million is their house that they have paid for in full. And that, my friend, is why you should focus on paying off your house more than investing more than 50%. Alrighty. Stupid. Alrighty, nice hunt. 5360. HSA reimbursement or out of pocket. Just signed up a high deductible health plan with health savings account last October and only have about $3K in there. Need some treatment at Cairo for my headaches, neck pain, and back pain, and the total payment for the whole treatment is $3,500. Now I have some options. Don't get the treatment. Yep, that is an option. Go with monthly payment and leave the HSA and stop the HSA contribution or contribute as little as $10 to $50 a month. Use the saved up HSA money and pay the difference out of pocket. Restart the HSA contribution. Yeah, probably that one. If you think it's going to be worth it, you may want a second opinion. But probably that second opinion would have to come from a chiropractor too. And a lot of times a chiropractor will say, oh yeah, chiropractic help will definitely help you. You just hope it will. Especially if you pay $3,500 for it. You can see if you can split it up, like maybe into 3 payments or something like that, and spread them out. But I wouldn't go with a monthly payment on it. No, I would take that money out. That's what the health savings account is for. If you cannot cash flow your stuff, if you're not a Richie and you're trying to use the HSA for an extra investment vehicle only, and you're able to cash flow stuff. So I assume you're not here. So let's see. This price tag is when no insurance policy is involved, so the payment won't be mounted into the annual deductible limit. I think you still might be able to turn that in. Like you still might be able to provide proof of that and that be applied to your deductible, maybe. I don't know, you'll have to check on that. I'm not an expert on that. Let's see, BK9896, frustrated and sad. I feel like we'll never ever get out of debt because of kid health issues. That can be a real sucky bummer. Absolutely. Poor kid. Multiple kids. Hopefully not. Let's see, we have 3 boys aged 5, 7, and 9. Hopefully not all have a health issue. We were debt-free other than the house until our middle was diagnosed with relatively moderate immune disorder. Pulled out of school, had to quit working. Hospital stays and $100,000 worth of testing in 1.5 years. Yikes. And we find out she needs a 30K drug IV, so we have to pay hospital and nurse fees too. Every 2 weeks that our insurance doesn't cover. Yikes. Yeah, we don't make much money, so there are grants I have to apply for yearly for that one. Yeah. And some years we will get one, and next year we won't. It's wild, and yeah. Then our oldest was diagnosed with post-infectious, not COVID, asthma. It is so severe, he was in the ER at least once every single week for 6 months straight, nothing at home. Worked to keep him breathing safely. His fourth doctor a year said she literally had no one above her to escalate his case to. He was on 8 different medicines multiple times daily and hardly made it through the week. Is pulled out of school. That's rough. Oh, the youngest present with bogus vision. Oh, and needs glasses every 6 months. Yikes. Which is like nothing compared to the others, but at 150 to 300 per pair of glasses, you could go with cheaper glasses, especially for a kid. You could use the same frames, that kind of thing. We're just praying he doesn't smash them or break them. You know, yeah, he's only 5. Yep. So yeah, I know that's rough. Husband's a teacher. You keep the kids at home, right? Obviously can't work. Amazing homeschool group that meets outdoors for us. Socialization, right? I'll love them dearly, right? Yep. But financially we're drowning. Agree. And there is seemingly no hope. No one is going to forgive our medical debt. No one is going to leave us money in their will. No one is going to magically fix the USA healthcare insurance issue. We're stuck, and it is just depressing. Absolutely. I get it. Medical debt will go into collections eventually if you don't pay it. And at that point, you could settle it for less. But as far before that, you just got to keep fighting. You just got to keep doing the best you can to raise those kids. That is indeed very, very sad. And yeah, at that point, the Ramsey advice, the baby steps, that takes a back seat to raising your kids and taking care of them. What was your biggest learning about money in 2023? San Francisco native. Biggest learning about money in 2023. Did I learn anything new? I don't think I did. I probably learned some stuff, like maybe about the market or something like that. Some little facts about some stuff that I looked up, that kind of thing. But nothing huge. The best thing about the plan, Dave's advice, is very simple, and it hasn't changed in 30 years. It's still the same. Let's see. For people who followed Dave's advice on not needing a credit card and now have no credit score, how has this impacted your life? Not one bit. Never had a problem getting a rental car. Never had a problem getting an apartment. Never had a problem doing anything. So none problem. No, and that's multiple car rental places, multiple apartments as well. No problem. 3 different ones. Small victory. Reached small victory. Partner and I paid off $29K in credit card debt in about 18 months. Excellent. Car has $6K left. Then onto the student debt. Excellent. Time is it 11:36? Maybe I'll go till midnight central here. Let's see. Living at home after college from frequent _scallion _32. Living at home after college. This is just one of my pet peeves where people say live at home. Okay. After you move out, it's not home anymore. Your home is where you live. What they mean is living with parents. So let's see. I want to start this post by saying I'm lucky and fortunate. I am 33, male, graduate from college. Excellent. Last name. Now working full time in San Antonio, Texas, making $70K. Excellent. Financial analyst at a bank. I save and invest the majority of my paycheck because I love the game of building wealth and growing my net worth. It's super fun for me and kind of a hobby at this point. have an amazing relationship with my parents and we get along so great. They love having me home. Okay. Like I said, that's their house, not yours house. So it's not really home. And tell me all the time they don't want me to move out. I'm also Hispanic. So culturally, it's more common to live with family until you're married. You can do whatever you want. Dave thinks when you're an adult that you need to live on your own. You can do whatever you want. And of course, that does definitely. Yeah, I won't say anything against that. Will not end up being less expensive for you. Of course, it will. Let's see. Are the Ramsey personalities allowed to have any opinions of their own? They are, but it's the Ramsey show. It's Ramsey's Solutions. When they start working there, they know that is the message. Dave's advice is the message. They have minor disagreements about minor stuff. But it's not like a point counterpoint debate show. It's a advice show that advises the Ramsey way of doing things. And so they like I said, they got minor arguments, but they wouldn't be working there if they weren't giving Dave's advice. So this again is about the stupidest question I've ever seen. Alrighty. Yeah, you just got to be smart about this stuff. Let's see, visual-bear 8347. I mean, if it was some, network show or something like that, of course they'd be arguing back and forth the whole time. It's not that. It's the Ramsey show. Have you seen it? That's how it goes. It's been on the radio for 30 years. That's how it goes. Credit score. Hello, no credit score, doesn't matter. But I'm going to ask about it anyway. Let's see. I'm debt free. Just curious when my score will plummet now. If you're paying a mortgage payment, you're still interacting with debt, and so that will not go completely down. It may not even drop significantly for a while, because you're still playing footsie with the bank, paying off the mortgage. So it may not drop if you have a mortgage. If you don't, and you don't have any loans, no credit lines, nothing, eventually that will go down to indeterminable. How fast? Couldn't tell you. 3-month CD from JD Ford 85. So help me conceptualize this. Okay. Again, this is going to be somebody that doesn't understand Dave's advice, I guess. Let's see. 3-month CDs are around 5%. What's to stop someone from investing a chunk of money earning 5% then Oh, I've done this one. Because that 3-month CDs of 5%, that's 5% a year, dummy. Not just people not understanding Dave's advice, people not understanding math and investing in general. That's 5% a year, so 5% divided by 4, which would give you your 3-month period. So that's going to be about a 1-point-something%. So none of that is you're not going to have 20% returns for the year. That's stupid. So I think I've done all these, even though they're not, yeah, I've done all these. So what time is it? Should I stop? No, I'll do a couple from this new batch. Baby step 3B from Arnold A, 2024. Baby step 3B, okay, again. Baby step 3B is saving for a down payment for a house. And you don't do that while you still have debt. You don't do that while you're still saving for your full emergency fund. You do that after you have your full emergency fund. And your down payment savings is completely separate from your full emergency fund. And so 3B comes right in here. Again, missing baby steps video coming, and that will be baby step 0, all the stuff you do before you saved $1,000, and baby step 3B, which is saving for a down payment. I'm going to try to make it really nice too. That may mean that I don't get to be that involved with it as far as talking and such. We'll see. Okay, 22 years old, been working for a few years now, completely debt-free, and I've built up a good portfolio with my financial advisor over the past 2 years. I'm considering renting for a year or so to cash flow my first house completely. Okay, but my plan has recently changed, and I was expecting to stay with my parents until age 23. I could possibly be leaving the house sooner than I expected, making it a little more difficult to make the purchase. I have also been considering buying a condo, making the move after a few years, but I've been juggling the idea to rent instead to keep from cashing out my portfolio that would appreciate at a much faster rate. Right? You should be investing in retirement, not just having a portfolio. If it's not for retirement, you should just be doing retirement at this point first, and any other things come second. And if you're just going to rent and you didn't have any kids and you didn't have any house and you're just going to rent, then you're in baby 7. But the second you say, oh, I'm going to save up for a house, you're back in baby step 3B. And so that means you're with the 15% limit of investing into retirement, no other investing. If you're in my position, would you rent to buy more time to get a long-term property or settle in the condo? That may be settle for a condo. If you don't want a condo, don't buy a condo just because it's somewhere you could go to. Especially if you haven't lived in the area. Like if it's not where your parents live, it's like in a different city or a different corner of the city. Definitely rent in that area first to make sure you want to live there. That way you don't buy a house and then have to sell it because you ate it. So definitely do that, and yeah, definitely cut back on the investing. You should just be investing for retirement. And if you want to get a house faster and you need, say, a large down payment, that kind of thing, then you stop investing while you save up that cash to at least put down the down payment. Even if you are going to get a mortgage, you still need a down payment. That puts the mortgage payment into 25% of your your take-home pay range. I don't get baby step 6. Well, let me explain it to you. Let's see what the problem is. Do you know if this is outdated advice or does it need some additional qualifier? No. I'm on a 30-year at 2.5, no MPMI. Bank CDs are a little over 5% now. Okay, well, okay, so I think you do understand baby step 6. You don't understand why it's a bad idea. Okay, so if you put money into a CD making 5%, a lot of people just think about that 5%, or the money market rates of 4%. A lot of people just think about that. And they don't think about the 2.5%. You got to subtract the 2.5% from whatever you're making here. So at best, that's going to be a 2.5% difference. And so by dragging the mortgage out to full term, which Dave doesn't recommend that anyway. He says 15-year fixed. He says pay it off. And you should pay it off before you invest more. Now, you investing without paying off your house, that is called debt leverage, because you still have that risk of the mortgage and you don't have it paid off. Let's see, is there any reason at all that makes more sense for me to pay money in the mortgage instead of simply investing it in literally anything? Yes, what I just told you. A lot of people just think about the 5%. They don't think about the difference. They're only making 2.5%. So is that worth it? People can do whatever they want with their money, but that's the Dave Ramsey advice is to not do that, because you're not factoring the risk of having a mortgage. The full mortgage is under 20% of gross. Excellent. No. It has to be 25% of net income pay. So you might be a little house poor there. So it isn't like it's hurting me either. It might be. Even if paid off entirely, taxes and insurance will still keep a decent amount of that false, nowhere near the full payment of it. Stupid. Making up stuff to back himself up. It seems that having another 100 to 400K plus in a money market that it can treat as practically cash is a much greater advantage than having the same amount less in debt in case something big comes up. Well, you can do what you want to do, or you can follow Dave's advice, and Dave's advice is not having the risk of having a mortgage. And again, you just turn it around. If you had a paid for house, if your house was paid for completely, would you take a mortgage out on it so that you could put the money into an investment? And if the answer is no, it's the same thing. If the answer is no, you're doing that by doing this. You're just doing it in reverse, but it's the same thing. So, and again, some people have told Dave when he turned it around on like that, they said they would get a mortgage on a paid off house to invest it. And they've said, yes, they will. And at that point, Dave basically just gives up on it. He says, okay, you're going to do what, you're going to do what you want to do. And he said before, and you better, and you better take a loan for as much as you can get. So you can put that in the market then, since that's what you believe in, or investing, not necessarily the market. So yeah, people get to make their own decisions, but so it's not that you don't get it. You don't want to get it because you want to do what you want to do. You want to do your plan, which you can do because it's your money. 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, D, Y, B, K, L, P. How much do I stockpile for a baby? You just pile up cash until mom and baby are home safe. People judging without knowing anything about it. Yeah, well, it's the internet and it's Reddit, so you're kind of asking for it when you post on here. So you can't be surprised with it. So, but yeah, so you just stop the baby steps and you just pile up cash. So the answer is how much? All of it is what you stockpile for a baby. All of it. And then when mom and baby are home safe, no problems, then you start the baby steps again and you pile whatever money is left, which hopefully is almost all of it. Then you apply that to whatever baby step you're on and keep going. Healthy food budget. No, not on baby step 2. You buy the cheapest one. Come on, you don't buy healthy food because that costs way more. Let's see, rag Okay. I've been very tight with money for most things, but my wife and I are just absolutely horrid with food costs. Currently spending $1,200 a month on food for 2 people. I know, I wasn't even aware until we started looking at our statements. That is so crazy. I was probably the same way. Before I started paying off debt, I was probably the same way, not paying any attention to any of it. Just as long as there was money in the bank account to buy groceries and pay bills, it was fine. So but but now how could you miss that you're paying $1,200? That's if it's just the 2 of you, that's $600 a piece a month. Let's see, overall, this is about 8% of our after. Yeah, that's just food. The clear, obvious step is to stop eating out. But I'm curious how some people make healthy food on a budget. Well, most of the time, anything made at home is going to be healthier than restaurant food. What that looks like and how much to spend is, where do you shop? What do you buy? Walmart is great. Great value stuff is great. How do you plan out your meals to feed your family? Oh, then maybe they do have kids. I don't know. Archer's asking. Favorite cookbooks? Is there any eating out? And if so, how much? You can eat out a little. I mean, if you're on baby step 2, there's no eating out. No restaurants unless you work there. This person doesn't say what baby step they're in. So it's different. Baby step 3, while you're saving full emergency fund, you can go out to eat to celebrate being out of debt a couple times. Once a month, put it in the budget. It's fine. But till then, no. Throw lump sum at mortgage or keep in savings for the next house. Throw the lump sum at the mortgage. You will get that back in when you sell it. You'll get that money back when you sell the current house. And you don't, because you don't know when you're going to leave. Anything can happen. So let's see, baby steps 4, 5, and 6. 110K left on mortgage with about 30K extra saved up in savings. You should have full emergency fund beyond that 30. If that 30 is part of your emergency fund, you don't put that on the mortgage. If that 30K is your whole emergency fund, you don't put that on the mortgage. If that 30K is in addition to your full emergency fund, then you put all that on the mortgage, yes. And you will get that back when you sell the house. So you don't have to keep building it up for the next house. You pay that mortgage off, and then you get it back when you sell the house. Okay, and the reason is because you don't know when you're going to move. And you're not losing it. You will get it back when you sell the house. Katie underscore did underscore 02 021 21 9. Baby step 4 2403Bs. I have a full-time job and contributing 15% of my income to a 403B. Have Roth, have regular. Contribution employer matches 2%. I don't know if it's half and half because the employer would have to put the match into a non-Roth. So maybe it's only the match that's going into. So I don't know if it's half and half, but it could be 2 of them. Yeah. I recently picked up a part-time job and learned my employer does an automatic 3%. What? It's not a match they contribute regardless if I do or not. Oh, well, that's great. My question is, should I contribute something to that 403B as well? That's a 403 as well for that employer? Might be a teacher or something like that. Something to do with the government. That would be the 403B would be the government version of the 401k. And no, you don't have to. Oh, and that can be a Roth as well. I think that one would have to be a non-Roth for them to give you the money, even though it's not a match. Even though it's just something, a gift they give you, I don't think that can be in a Roth either. So that probably has to be as a regular, and so you can start a Roth 403B there. But especially if it's part-time, how much money are you really going to make there? I would just concentrate on well, you're already doing the 15%. You're already doing the 15%. So I would just max that one out, because that full-time job you would probably have longer. So that's what I would do with that. I would just take the extra money and put it into there and let them keep giving you the 3% contribution and just leave that there. Let's see, baby force 5 and 6, 36 to 43. With only about 150K in retirement, as we just made it through. Baby step 3 within the last year. Okay. Husband walls over pension, 220K left on the house, saving a little for college. Have a full-time job, that's part-time role. Work as a contractor. Look at that. Busy. Have 2 steady adjunct instructor roles. Yeah, just make sure you're doing 15% of all of that. Absolutely. And you also don't want to do 15% of more than 15% while you still have that house payment. Get that house paid off, because a paid off house, you can live there rent free during retirement. So what else was I going to say about that? Yeah, just no extra other than the 15%. What I was going to say is a lot of people get confused and think that 15% of the husband's income, and 15% of the wife's income equals 30% of the household income. No, 15% of his, 15% of hers equals 15% of household, which means both of you. So that's still 15. That's not 30. So a lot of people incorrectly think that. Give me big balls, debt free today. Great. Made the last student loan payment of 43.97 cents. Paid, spelled paid off wrong. Student loan. Hashtag third grade for paid. It's P-A-I-D, not P-A-Y-E-D. But we'll give him a break since he did pay that off, and hopefully has a degree as well. Paid off 12.5K total and bought a $15,000 car in cash, 25 years old. Excellent. Wanting to do some great things and be generous, way ahead of where I was at 25, so that is excellent. Baby step 3, flare there. Excellent. Starting on that baby step 3. Excellent. If you positive net worth, are you still in debt? Yes. Yes, it's still debt. You still owe the people. Being positive net worth has nothing to do with debt. That just means you have more assets than debt. Okay. Some really easy questions. Sometimes. This from Diamond Disc 89. 25% mortgage rule. Does 25% of your income rule apply to everyone? I'm special. It doesn't apply to me. Apply only to the principal and interest or the entire loan payment, including taxes and insurance and HOA. I believe that it is loan, taxes, and insurance, but not HOA, I believe. Let's see, Gibbs Gal 22. Items of value. We need to get rid of some things. What have you, baby steppers, found to be the easiest to sell, most lucrative online? A Facebook marketplace. Thank you. I've sold a bunch of my son's Lego sets that basically he put together once, and that was it. He didn't really play with the sets after he put them together. He had some other Lego sets that he did self-building with, that he built his own different things with. But the sets, the Star Wars, what else did he have? Ninjago, etc., etc. I've been selling them, and so the stuff that I've personally sold, those are probably the most got the most money. Lego sets on. I didn't put them on Facebook Marketplace. Did that on eBay. What I sold on eBay. Tell me why. Oh, actually, it's gonna buy the Weird Al song. It's gonna buy. Okay. No, area 7677. What would Dave do? Flare. Advice on debt and savings. What should my wife and I do? So I've got 35K-ish in a CD. I'm going to cash out. At this point, I won't lose anything. It's lose, only one O. Anything, but I won't gain anything either. Okay. I personally have 25K in debt. Why do you have 35K-ish in a CD? You have debt. What would Dave do? Dave would follow the baby steps. I don't see save that money in a CD here anywhere. I don't see that. Maybe this person is new though. Let's see. Debt from before my wife and I got together. Her credit is good. Doesn't matter. But we have about $49,213 in additional debt. 12K is personal loan, and the other are a combination 2 vehicles. Why do you have 35K in a CD? If we sold them now, we would make about 5K each off what they booked for and what we have left. What they booked for? Oh, you mean Kelly Blue Book? 2 vehicle loans. Yeah, if the payment is I would say more than $300, sell them, at least one of them anyway, and get a cheap car. Yep. but you don't have, I mean, 95, they make 95K a year after taxes. Yeah. Should I pay off all of my debt first and apply? Yes. What is left to pay off the personal loan? The personal loan should come way before. It's smallest to largest. I'm working on a budget and we're likely debt-free by the end of this year or next year, at which point we will save to pay for a house in cash. Excellent. Don't have any credit cards, plan on keeping it. Okay, before we got new vehicles, we had the same cars for about 7 years. Okay, both about 300. Okay, so you know what you're doing. You just splurge past what we could afford when getting these back in 2019. Yeah. Yep. So if you're a long-time lurker and listener, you should know better than some of this stuff. You should know better than saving 35K in a CD when you have debt. You should know better than that. A new person may not know that. Let's see, House approves bill that would end student loan forbearance and claw back unpaid interest. Yep, step 7. Well, you never know. Personally, I think I did these as well. Should we cut home cleaning service to attack debt? Yeah, I think I said yes. Envelope idea. Yeah, okay. So I've done adding mortgage to baby step 2. I think if it's like 2 years, if it would take only 2 years, I think that's where Dave would be fine with you doing it, but the problem with that is that you don't have the full emergency fund if you add it to the end of baby step 2. So I personally would recommend, I think Dave would too, is that you do step 3 at least, but then you can still hold off on investing while you pay off the house. So, but you got to at least have that full emergency fund. Has Dave ever made exceptions on this? Yes, if it's not that much, but I think he does want you to have the emergency fund. So it's not really baby steps 2, it's still 6, and you're skipping 4 and 5 to get to 6 to pay off the house. So again, not really an exception because he's fine with you doing that. So I wouldn't call that an exception because he's advised that for years. Dave versus credit card. Oh yeah, I've done that. Yeah. Yeah, as you can see the light blue there, that means I have done it before. Alrighty, so did I have anything else to say about anything? I don't think so. Let's do this. Oops, sorry. Try that one more time. There we go. Okay. I'm Coach Steve Money. Once again, I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you've got money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial consultation / assessment with me at calendly.com/Coach Steve Money, or you can click the handy dandy link right above me up there in the green part of my banner there where it says, what does it say? Schedule free consultation. It says in that little box, and you can just click that. Or you can just type in Calendly, like calendar, but just instead of the AR, it has a, the ER. No, AR. Calendar, isn't it? Yeah. Take out the AR and put LY there. Calendly.com/Coach Steve Money, or you can read it right there in the image. What else we got? If you had any questions about the coaching, about scheduling, about anything Ramsey, you can ask me one question. That's no problem. I will be more than happy to answer you about that via email. If you got any questions about anything on my YouTube channel, any of the things that I'm into on there, stuff that I post, you can do that at CoachSteveMoney@gmail.com. Donations go to PayPal.me/CoachSteveMoney. You can add me on the gram at CoachSteveMoney. And of course, this YouTube channel is YouTube.com/CoachSteveMoney. Alrighty. May or may not play some live Last of Us Part 1. I probably am going to do that entire game on the PC, playing on PC. That is the completely rebuilt version of the game, and want to see all those lovely graphics. And finally got my replacement liquid cooler because the pump died on the liquid cooler. So I sent it to the nice fine folks at Thermal Take, and they said, yep, it's broke. They said, yep, we'll send you a brand new one of the newer model. And I was like, perfect. Alrighty, so I may do that, may not. Alrighty, until next time, make smart financial decisions every day. No, it's that way. Up in the middle there. Thanks for watching so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. I think 616 subscribers. Thank you very much. Every single one of you. Appreciate it.